Hello, my dear friends. Nice to see you again. Today I will bring you a very interesting and meaningful story. Please prepare your seats, fasten your seat belts, and let's explore this story right now. Today's story is about a woman named Emma worked double shifts at Joe's Cafe, barely scraping by to pay rent and support her ailing father. On a chilly December night, she witnessed two wealthy professionals mocking an elderly homeless man, tossing his few possessions into a muddy puddle. Though she knew these men were regulars who tipped generously, money she desperately needed, Emma couldn't stay silent. Confronting them, she lost not only her tips but also her job. 2 hours later, three men in sharp suits entered the cafe, asking for the waitress who had stood up for a stranger. Little did Emma know, her act of kindness was about to change her life. Emma had been a waitress at Joe's Cafe for 3 years. The cozy cafe, located on a bustling street corner in downtown Chicago, drew in both locals and business professionals. Emma's mornings began at 6 a.m., but she often worked late into the night to make ends meet. Her father's medical bills were unrelenting, and the cost of his heart medication far exceeded her modest salary. Each night, Emma counted her tips, carefully tucking them into an old cookie jar, hoping they'd cover the next round of treatments. The evening rush had slowed when Emma noticed Ben, a homeless man who often lingered outside the cafe. Ben was a quiet presence, reading old magazines he found or occasionally accepting leftovers from kind customers. Emma sometimes slipped him a cup of coffee when she could. That night, two regular customers, Mike and Daniel, walked in, their expensive suits exuding wealth. They always ordered the priciest items and left generous tips, tips Emma badly needed that week. Through the window, she saw Mike kick Ben's small paper bag of belongings into a puddle, scattering them. Daniel laughed, pointing at Ben's tattered coat. Emma froze, her hands trembling as she set down the coffee pot. She knew that intervening could cost her the much-needed tips, or worse, her job. Peter, the cafe owner, had warned her against getting involved with customers' behavior. Outside, Ben crouched, trying to salvage his soaked belongings, his hands shaking in the bitter cold. Mike pushed the bag further away with his foot, a smug grin on his face. Emma's heart raced, but her voice was firm as she walked outside. "Stop that right now. Leave him alone," she demanded. Mike turned, his face contorted with irritation. "Stay out of this, waitress. We spend money here every week." Emma replied steadily, "Then find somewhere else to eat. Ben is a person. He deserves respect." Daniel grabbed Mike's arm and muttered, "Let's report this rude service to the manager." They stormed inside as Emma helped Ben collect his belongings, offering him her lunch and a fresh magazine. Minutes later, Peter called Emma into his office, his expression grim. "Emma, those men are some of our best customers. They're demanding I fire you." Emma stood her ground. They were bullying someone who couldn't defend himself. Peter sighed, "I can't afford to lose my business. I'm sorry, Emma. Pack up your things." Holding back tears, Emma untied her apron and walked out. Sitting on a bench outside the cafe, she tried to steady herself against the biting cold. Ben approached hesitantly, clutching the magazine she had given him. "You shouldn't have lost your job for helping me," he said, his voice soft and educated. "I've seen those men be rude to others here before." Emma wiped her eyes and replied, "I just couldn't stand by and let them treat you like that." As they spoke, a sleek black car pulled up to the curb. Three men stepped out, their tailored suits making Mike and Daniel's outfits look cheap. The eldest, a tall man with silver hair, appeared to be in his 60s. The younger two carried polished briefcases. The trio walked toward the cafe, but before entering, the gray-haired man paused, his gaze falling on Emma and Ben. The story was about to take a surprising turn. "Are you looking for the waitress who helped me?" "This is her," Ben said, pointing to Emma. The older man turned, his kind eyes studying her carefully. "My name is William, and these are my colleagues, Alex and Jacob. We were dining across the street when we saw what happened." Emma stood up, brushing off her uniform. She noticed their suits probably cost more than she earned in months. "Can we talk inside?" "It's freezing out here," William asked, gesturing to a coffee shop next door. Emma hesitated. "I should get home. My father's waiting." William nodded. "Please, just 10 minutes. What you did tonight, we'd like to hear more about it." Inside the coffee shop, they settled at a corner table. William ordered coffee for everyone, including Ben, who sat quietly with them. "How long have you worked at the cafe?" William asked. 3 years, Emma replied. "It was enough to help with my dad's medical bills, at least until tonight." Alex opened his briefcase, pulling out some documents, as William continued. "We own several restaurants in the city. We're looking for someone to manage a new training program for staff." Emma frowned. "I don't understand." "What you did tonight showed incredible character," William explained. "You chose what's right over what's easy. That's exactly the kind of person we need. The position pays $80,000 a year, with full benefits." Emma's hands shook around her coffee cup. This couldn't be real. Things like this didn't happen in real life. "Why me? You don't even know me," she stammered. William smiled. "Sometimes, you learn everything you need to know about someone from a single act of courage." Emma stared at the business card William handed her. The office address was just a few blocks away. Her mind raced. "I appreciate the offer, but I've never managed anything before. I'm just a waitress." William leaned forward. "You've dealt with difficult customers, handled busy shifts, and trained new staff. That's real experience. Alex here started as a dishwasher 15 years ago. Now, he oversees 5 of our restaurants." Alex nodded. "Skills can be taught, Emma. Good character can't." Jacob slid a folder across the table. "The training program needs someone who understands restaurant work from the ground up, someone who can teach staff to treat both customers and co-workers with respect." Emma thought of her father, likely worried sick at home. "Could I start next week? I need time to find someone to help care for my dad during the day." "Of course," William said. "We offer health insurance from day one. It covers family members too." Tears welled in Emma's eyes, this time for a different reason. Her father could finally get the treatment he needed. Ben, who had been quietly sipping his coffee, finally spoke. "Emma, good things happen to good people. Take the job." William turned to Ben. "We'd like your help, too. Our restaurants partner with local shelters, and we need someone to coordinate our meal donation program. It's a part-time position and includes housing assistance." Ben straightened, his voice steady. "You're offering me a job, too?" "You showed dignity under harassment and spoke highly of Emma, even after what happened." "That tells me a lot about your character," William replied. "The meal program needs someone who understands the community and can help us serve it better." Alex handed both Emma and Ben employment contracts. "Take these home and review them. We'll meet tomorrow to discuss any questions." Emma glanced at the papers, then at Ben. Just hours ago, she had lost her job defending him. Now, they were both being offered fresh starts. Life, it seemed, could turn in the blink of an eye. "Why me?" Emma asked William. "Because kindness is rare in this business," he replied. "When we find it, we want it on our team." 6 months had passed since that fateful night at the cafe. Emma sat in her new office, reviewing training schedules for the company's newest restaurant. Her wall calendar was filled with meetings and appointments, a stark contrast to her previous life juggling shifts as a waitress. Her father's health had improved dramatically, thanks to the medical care their new insurance provided. Emma smiled, recalling the day he took his first pain-free steps in years and how they both cried tears of joy. A knock on the door brought her back to the present. Ben stood in the doorway, looking completely transformed. Gone were the tattered clothes and weary face. In their place was a clean, professional appearance, a tailored suit, neatly trimmed gray hair, and a warm smile. "The shelter coordination meeting is about to start," Ben said. "We need your input on the new meal distribution system." Emma grabbed her notes and joined him in the conference room, where restaurant managers and local shelter coordinators were already seated. These monthly meetings were her favorite part of the job. The summer meal program served over 3,000 people last month, Ben announced proudly, presenting his report. "We've also partnered with 5 new shelters since the spring." One coordinator raised her hand. "The quality of the meals has made such a difference. People feel respected and valued." Emma watched as Ben beamed with pride. What had started as a simple meal donation program had grown into something extraordinary. They now offered cooking classes, job training, and support services. Many former shelter residents were now employed at their restaurants, building new lives. Near the end of the meeting, William walked in. Though he still oversaw operations, he trusted Emma and Ben to manage their programs independently. After the meeting, he approached Emma with a grin. "Remember those 2 customers from your old cafe?" he asked. "Mike and Daniel?" Emma replied, looking up from her notes. "They tried to make reservations at one of our new locations." Emma raised an eyebrow. "What did you tell them?" "I reminded them of our strict policy against harassment." "They're not welcome," William said. Emma smiled, reflecting on how far she had come. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was thriving, helping others build better lives, too. Ben glanced at her as he organized his files. "You know, I helped place 12 people in jobs this month. Some of them were in the same situation I was in not long ago." Emma opened her desk drawer and ran her fingers over the old name tag she'd kept from Joe's Cafe. One moment of standing up for what was right had created a ripple effect, changing more lives than she could have ever imagined. 1 year after that life-changing night, Emma found herself standing in front of Joe's Cafe. A "for sale" sign hung in the window. Curious, she stepped inside. The familiar bell above the door chimed, and Peter, the owner, greeted her with a tired smile. "Emma? I almost didn't recognize you," Pete said, straightening his apron. "I heard you're doing well." Emma sat at her old sections counter. "The cafe's for sale?" she asked. Peter nodded. "Business hasn't been good since those regular customers left. I'm too old to turn things around. It's time for me to retire." Emma thought for a moment. "What if we helped? My company is looking to open a training location. This place could be perfect, a spot to teach new staff while giving this cafe a fresh start." That evening, Emma presented her idea to William. "Joe's Cafe is small, perfect for training. We could keep the original menu, add some fresh items, and make it a place where everyone feels welcome." William reviewed her proposal thoughtfully. "You want to run this location too?" Emma nodded. "I'd like to give others the same chance you gave me. We could partner with Ben's program and offer job training here." 2 months later, Emma unlocked the cafe's doors. The space had transformed. It was brighter, warmer, and filled with new energy. Peter stayed on as a consultant, teaching new staff his signature recipes. His eyes lit up seeing the dining room bustling again, alive with conversation and laughter. Ben helped organize a free breakfast program, ensuring people from the shelter had a hot meal every morning and learned about job opportunities. Emma hired Lisa, a single mom struggling to make ends meet, as her assistant manager. Emma saw a reflection of herself in Lisa's determination to create a better future. One morning, Emma served coffee to an elderly couple. "This place feels so different now," the woman said, smiling. "There's so much kindness in the air." "When kindness is shared, it multiplies," Emma replied, watching her team work seamlessly. At one table, a business executive sat next to someone from the shelter program. Both were treated with equal respect and care. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change everything, Emma said, refilling their coffee cups. She reached into her pocket and touched the old name tag she kept as a reminder of where her journey began. Joe's Cafe had become more than just a restaurant. It was now a place of new beginnings, where kindness thrived and second chances were served daily, one cup of coffee at a time. Love this story? Tap that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories. Let us know how this story made you feel with a single word in the comments. Goodbye and see you in the next stories.